That's the best. That's the best tone I can make. For Mineski.
So let's quickly talk about how these teams are doing. So both are currently
Sure.
in the top 4 of the group, actually, which makes this a very important game. Every game is important, but obviously,
This is even more important.
when you get to this stage, you start seeing the writing on the wall if a team is going to secure their upper bracket or if they're going to be close to elimination or if they're in that middle range. And LGD with a win here are more or less guaranteed top 4. I
Yeah,
think, 'cause then they would
if you have 10 points, you're
Yeah, the top
pretty much guaranteed top 4.
I think it actually
So like
is
LGD as well as Team Secret are both playing to secure that upper bracket spot.
Yeah.
Right
And,
now.
LGD have played 5 series, whereas Mineski have played 4, and LGD have 3 points more than Mineski, so they're ahead, just flat out. Even if Mineski were to 2 or their other series, they would be 1 point behind LGD. So let's see how we get into this game. So we've got a couple of pretty standard bans for this tournament so far. Enchantress and Mirana and Ogre, all 3 have been very popular heroes, and especially among the Chinese teams, Shadow Demon has been one of the greats. And you've seen plenty of teams ban Leshrac against LGD because they have an amazing Leshrac core player in Maybe.
Shadow Demon actually out of the
And
top,
Elder Type.
I can just keep going down even further about the top 10 most picked heroes at this tournament. Shadow Demon has the best win rate at 62.07%. Stats brought to you by an unknown website that I'm not going to name.
No plugging.
No plugging. That's right. We don't give no free adverts. But Tidehunter, first phase pickup from LGD. As long as they don't go with what was it? What we had yesterday was Tidehunter Beastmaster, right? Or
Tidehunter Shadow Demon, I think LGD did. Or not LGD. Was it LGD? It might have been LGD. It was LGD. They did it against Liquid. Don't have Titus D. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Can't do that this game though.
Nope.
He's banned out.
That is not a possibility. Mineski's first pick, however, was my choice this year around for most picked hero because I figured, okay, there's going to be some heroes that get banned a lot. And most picked hero is one of the, in my opinion, hardest categories to get right because you're like looking at the meta and what you think is going to happen, and then you're like gauging, okay, these heroes are probably going to be banned a lot. And Maiden for me was one of those heroes that's solid as a support and that would go through the ban phase in general.
Yeah.
And Mineski are going to grab it this game. I don't even think it's in the top 10 most picked right now.
It's on the edge.
Okay.
It's like maybe 13th, 14th at 17 picks.
And the current number 1 is Ogre.
Yeah.
Who has
Ogre and ET are tied with 31 picks.
Yeah. I feel like they're not going to stay on top because teams are catching on and starting to ban these heroes quite a lot. So others are going to take that place. But Maiden is probably too far down.
Yeah, she's got a long way to catch up. The other heroes, like if it's create space for maybe SD, if you're just banning out the ET, banning out the Ogre, the Ench, like he may start to slip through. Sand King's doing it, having a pretty good run as well.
Yeah.
Who's become a very critical hero for the 3 positions.
It'd be funny if the most picked hero ends up being a core. I don't know if that's happened before or has been common because usually the most picked heroes are the supports that are not absolute S tier, but like right below, because they are generally the ones you open the draft with, so they are not banned in the second phase. But currently Gyro and Sand King are not very far behind being most picked hero. Which in a way makes sense because in the first phase we have all these support bans, and then there's a couple of support picks that have slipped through that are then becoming popular. But then when you get into the second phase, they just haven't been rated as high, and sometimes they've even been first phased by teams. Sand King has been first phased. Gyro has been closing the first phase sometimes. For a team like LGD, actually I believe that did happen yesterday. They picked it from maybe relatively early, or was there a 4th pick? Either way, I feel like I've seen it in the first phase already for one team. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Sand King for me has just been this. I don't want to say the story of the tournament because it's not the most picked hero, but it's the most recovered in a way. Because Sand King was really popular a couple of months back, and then it kind of disappeared, and it's just resurfaced in a big way, and it looks super impressive in every game I see it. So I'm a fan of the King and of the beach. But don't think Mineski are going to run it this game because they chose their Omni Knight here in the second pick position, or first pick position, but second pick of the first phase. Not completely sure what there's a couple of surprises here. First of all, this first phase Lina from LGD, I think they considered a flex pick. FY and Maybe both play the hero, so they can put it support.
Yeah.
But not completely sold on this Omni. They don't really have any information that Omni is particularly good against.
I'm trying to remember. There was a draft in Mumbai that Mineski ran where they first faced the Omni, and it was a pure enabler.
Good slug ban.
Hmm. Maybe it was no, was it Slug? It was definitely something. God, I'm trying to rack my brain for the first game of the morning and it's not happening.
It can be hard to remember every draft ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I have trouble just remembering some numbers.
I have trouble remembering what I ate yesterday. So, there you go.
I think it was a lot of slices of pizza,
That was a couple.
which is almost like blasphemy when you come to like Shanghai and you eat
Oh,
pizza.
I eat a lot of different food though. I've had plenty of different stuff here, to be honest.
Yes, if you could see the restaurant this year, everybody, it is very very diverse.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Grant will go here and he'll be like, okay, if they had McDonald's in the cafe, he would eat that instead.
Yes, it's crazy that you get too much choice, and you're like, and the thing is so damn long. It's like I gotta walk from one end to the other to actually find something.
Sometimes it's good to have the comfort and just get something you're used to. There's nothing wrong with that.
You know,
I like
this
trying new
blade
stuff,
does
but
not
it's
look
also
right
nice
on
to get the
gyrocopter.
Classic.
Like what is
why
that bottom blade?
not?
Because he's got his back propeller right that gives him vertical.
Yeah, it's a little bit angled.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
10 seconds remaining.
This is how.
This is how flight happens.
Who was it that drew the first helicopter again?
Da Vinci, right?
Yes.
Well-
I don't think he imagined it would be flown by this guy. But
A crazy guy who sounds like Slacks.
I think it's the other way around.
Yes, you got the both Slacks heroes next to each other. Mineski. This is
That's
just a
true.
tribute.
That's true. That does by default make it a disgusting draft. Then we'll see if it works. They just need techies. Then we have the holy trinity of.
That is actually Slacks' three
sorry,
best heroes.
We're not getting a techies to it.
No,
Don't
right.
get excited.
I am not looking forward here.
So, the Gyro with Omni Knight is a really good pairing. Gyro hits this mid-game timing where he's really strong with drums and Flak Cannon being maxed out and called on level 2. And what he needs is somebody to keep him safe so that he can get all his damage out and be in the center of the fight to deal more damage with Rocket Barrage. And that's something that Omni Knight brings to the table with the Heavenly Grace. However, their lineup has no real stun right now. And if you're Gyro, you really love if your team can set you up for that cooldown. So we're going to expect a little bit of something to come out here in this pick, maybe for Raging Potato. Or it could be a position 5 Omni Knight, which we haven't even talked about yet.
Yeah.
That's also a possibility. And then they get an active offlaner in the way of the Sanking, for example.
Yeah, I don't think we really talk though like about support Omni Knight, mainly because you never really feel the presence of support Omni Knight. It's like the 3 position, you farm up, you're able to have auras, you can actually be on the front lines. Like, what does the support do, especially when you got a Crystal Maiden? I can spam some abilities, but
Yeah, that's kind
like
of good for Omni.
it's just that lack of stuns though. Like without that control.
Yeah, you would need, if you play Omni 5, you need an active 3 that like really does stuff in the game. Or you need a strategy that plays around Omni as a group, so you don't need to catch so much. I love this Grimstroke pick. It's a hero we haven't seen that much this tournament so far, but he has excellent synergy with his teammates. It's really good with Sven. The Grimstroke Sven combo is a classic. Sven has a setup stun. You ink swell him, you run in. If you get a Soulbind, you have double Stormhammer, which is very powerful in team fights.
You got the double nuke as well from Lena.
You got the double Laguna Blade. You got double Gush, which is like it's not just added benefit. That's not like a classic pairing. But just having these extra things, it just feels nice when you're in the game. When you're Grimstroke and you feel like I can ulti and it's gonna be great, you're very happy.
Okay, now I may actually entertain the idea of a support Omni Knight, but it's probably a 4 Enigma. But
Could be 4 Enigma 5 at Maiden.
Both Omni as well as Enigma are heroes that KP does definitely play a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing against BKB Black Hole right now. They have no BKB piercing stuns. They could go Ags on Lena to kind of blow up the Enigma if he takes any damage before he goes in, but that's about it. So Enigma is one of those heroes that is really good against Sven in the way that even when Sven is super farmed, if you get caught by Midnight Pulse and Black Hole, do massive damage to him. The lockdown is really long, and that's usually when your team can focus fire him. So I like the idea, but we're running into this problem now that where's the catch? Where's the fight? How do you start team fights that favor you for Mineski?
And you see LGD's understanding that. Like they ban up Moon's tiny.
Yep.
They know you like you can toss a ding Marin. You can rush up your BKB if you wanted to instead of having to have the blink dagger.
That would be next level.
That's
That's true.
That would be next level. But LGD sees it. That's just an easy ban against Moon too.
Yeah, it's stable. It's a mid hero that can also lane against Lina while being a playmaker. I think what Mineski could end up going for is a Kunkka. I don't know if Moon really plays that hero, but that would be a catch team fighter that enables Gyro, and he has Maiden Aura for Kunkka, which is also a nice luxury to have.
It still feels
and
like
he
they need a
lanes-
little
he lanes
bit
well
more
against
like
Lina,
they need
so.
some like more direct push though, right? Because you don't have like the tower damage. It's
Dragon Knight?
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like DK, he can tank through. You got to do your initiation.
DK's alright. The lane against Lina can be pretty rough though, I think. Maybe it's okay.
And it still requires a large amount of
The
farm.
ban OD, that could be a hint. Yep.
Yeah, DK.
And then the Lina will be probably facing this guy and they pick a 5. Or they... Maybe there's more value in getting a bigger favored matchup mid. Because this DK will go mid, right?
Yeah.
You could possibly put one of the other cores mid, like Gyro could go mid and DK can go to one of the side lanes. But I don't think he enjoys either of the side lanes. He would be playing against Tide, which is not nice. Or he would be playing against this killer lane that can kill him early on before he gets points up in Dragon Blood. So... I kind of like the idea of counterpicking this DK mid instead of putting Lina mid for maybe.
Mhm.
Timbersaw
Yeah,
looks pretty hot.
Timber looks amazing.
Razor is a possibility. It's also good against Gyro and Omni, because, you know, Static Link is really annoying for these heroes.
Can we not have a Razor for our first game of the day though? Oh, damn
Oh, there you go.
it. Razor is one of the very few heroes that actually puts me to sleep.
Really?
But yeah,
I kind of like Razor.
like it's like that slow build up of hey, I've static linked you and things are now becoming a little more interesting, kind of style.
I think it's a really good pick this game.
Yeah, there really doesn't seem to be much that's gonna instantly get through him. And Mineski, you have to disengage, and they don't like. There's actually one of the few teams like because like there's no centaur. Like how do you run away? Like Mineski's like I just run directly at you.
Yeah, they have plenty of stun. They have really good team fight. They have favorable lanes, I would argue. And Razor has an added benefit in this game of being what's the word for this? Hybrid damage carry, right?
Mhm.
Or core. He has really good magic damage too around the mid-game timing with both the Plasma Field as well as the Unstable Current. So even into Omni Knight ulti, Razor can find kills in fights. And that's useful because Sven gets relatively hard countered by Omni ult. Although he can choose, which I would love to see in this game, Sven can actually get the Stormhammer Dispel as talent, which can remove GA on a target. So maybe he'll go that route.
That is a beautiful Lina set.
That is really cool. I think is that a China-only item?
No, that's the Arcana as well as the Immortal Skirt.
Wasn't there one? I feel like there's one item in this that I haven't really seen in Europe. Let me see. Disciple of the Wormrite. That's just immortal. Oh, he has the golden Braces of Smoldering Journey. No, you're right. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's just the Immortal and the Arcana.
Yep.
Like, yeah, and some basic arms. And for some reason, like, I always look at that chest piece, and it's just like I've got Iron Man. Like that's all that really is.
Okay, so
Yeah, let's focus on the game.
let's focus on what lanes Mineski can win here, realistically, with their lineup. I think the mid lane's going to be rough. We'll see how well Moon does against maybe's Razor. Top lane, they have currently placed 3 heroes with, it is indeed a, wait, it's a position 4 Omni.
It is. It's Ragey Potato
okay,
Omni
we
and
were-
KP3.
Not sure how big a fan of that I am, but we'll wait.
It,
We'll wait.
it
We'll
makes
hold our
sense.
judgment.
It makes sense though, right? Because you need KP to get to the BKB.
Yeah, we
Um,
could play a 5 Omni and a 4 Maiden then.
Yeah.
Because I don't... Does Omni really benefit from being a 4 that much? Is he able to find the farm? He's not a 4 that, you know, makes moves. So if you're playmaking, your most playmaking support is a Maiden and it's a 5. It's generally relatively difficult to find plays, but
Well, they're going to try and have a bit of a play. It's putting resistance up at Inkswell. Yeah, you don't want to have any kind of part of that. So,
3 runes for Olgd.
For who?
Olgd.
Do you want to translate that one out of Danish?
Olgd. What do you mean translate? How would you pronounce LGD in one word except like that?
I thought you were saying Ogd. I'm like,
Olgd.
Ogd.
You can't even do it. I love it.
So, all right.
Okay.
Everyone knows I'm linguistically challenged. And Nico, FY, to try and beat the crap out of him on bottom lane.
This is the kind of matchup that you love playing Lina in. If you're playing against a carry that has short range or melee, you get so many free hits in while the carry is trying to CS, and your your matchup against the other support is just a lane support that's flat out weaker than you in the beginning. Like you win the trades with Maiden no problem, and Ninja Boogie even only has 4 tangos, whereas FY is sitting on 6 tangos and a salve.
Hey, you get your answer as well, by the way, up on the top lane. So, like, Ragey Potato was actually playing the lane. You see his item builds actually got him to stay in there, and KP's playing the jungle.
Okay.
So, while KP is the normal 3 position of Mineski, obviously they feel a lot more confident just having him on Enigma, even if he has to play this 4 role.
Okay.
Because really, a jungle Enigma, if he's not contested, it's already a 3.
Kinda, yeah. Not sure how good the lane mechanics are of Raging Potato, though. Be interesting to see. Speaking of lane mechanics, maybe showing good form in mid so far. That was not so good form on the dragon.
Yeah.
Breathe fire.
Just have a look over there. It's like, with the brief fights, you can understand the spammer, but if you're able to... Like, the Soul Ring, when it used to be the build-in for DK, now it's just braces and treads and be a little bit more timely on your breathe fires. FY is not wanting to let this pull go easily. But at least they're able to change the lane. Lets Nico farm a little bit safer underneath the tower. His CS is not fantastic.
This is a very good rune. Because even though Mineski knows FY got this rune, they don't know where the play is coming. They're going to use a scan mid to get that feeling of safety, which I kind of like the scan. Because if FI were to come mid, they would know. And now that he's not there, they're isolating that he is bottom.
Yep.
If you didn't use a scan here, you have to play safe in both lanes, and that's going to cost you CS. So, nice little detail.
Yeah.
Misses the stun.
Charles willing to take that kind of damage. He's still got Salve and 4 tangos available, so it's not a scary thing up on top. That's a little bit more scary. Ragey Potato has no heal available. He'll have to get... He's got the Heavenly Grace, so that's where your heal comes in, combining with the Salve. But he's running very low on mana.
And on resources in general. He has 1 tango left. The Maiden Aura is going to help him a lot. I think this might be the kind of game on Ninja Boogie where you could... you go 1-1-1 and then you probably go Aura on level 4. FY?
Yeah, they're chasing him down.
He's dead.
Nico's got a level 2 Rocket Barrage, and with that, yeah, more than enough damage to get through FY.
That's uncharacteristic for FY. He's lost track of where the enemy carry was and just had a fight with the Maiden. That's a really good start for this bottom lane, which was kind of struggling, but now that Jaru got first blood, he's somewhat caught up to the tide. And the reason his lane is so hard is that, again, it's the support, right? It's Alina bullying the Maiden and bullying him at the same time, so full on free farm for Chalice in the meantime.
The Maiden actually had to walk all the way back to base too.
Yeah.
But every time these Light Striker Rays continue to hit over on Nico, someone's going to bring him some life. Oh, hey, Courier. What perfect timing. Up towards the top. Arme dropping low. KP. He's actually rotating in at the moment. So he'll go for the Malphite stun over to X-Nova with a level 2 convergence. The damage output. Grimstroke's going to tick out. And Arme starting to feel the pressure. Some of the greatest ways, like Enigmas, like coming in early and actually doing something. Not just sitting inside the jungle farming up. Getting involved in the game and not just...
He even has a Ring of Bassi, so that's really useful when he is in the lane together with Omni Knight. There's that little bit of extra mana regen helps quite a bit. Now he has Maiden Aura and Bassi. You see his mana regen is up to about 3. It looks like KP might be dancing. Okay. And switching back to the jungle.
Yeah.
Bounty runes.
5-minute ones they're playing for. Arme's doing as much damage to
Ninja
Ragey
Boogie's
Potato at the moment as, well, yeah, goodbye Boogie.
Super dead. But Nico, it snuck past and got a rune. This could actually end up almost costing him his life. Okay, he's fine. We'll go back to the shrine.
End up being a 2-2 trade.
Yeah.
And this mid lane's just gone absolutely nowhere. Apart from Razor just like double CSing against Moon.
This is in... I think if both players are equal in skill, I think this is the expected outcome, honestly. I would give maybe a slight edge on lane mechanics over Moon, but he's also super favored here. This is an excellent Razor matchup. And sometimes when people counterpick, they look very much at, okay, how do we beat this guy in lane, which is one aspect, but it's also about how good are you against him in the game. Light Strike is going to miss, so Nico will run away here. But yeah, that's the other part of it, right? You can counterpick an enemy hero in lane, which is a classic Huskar thing, right? Huskar counters an enemy hero in lane, but then it's about, well, do you counter them for the rest of the game as well? And that's where Razor comes in handy against Dragon Knight, because he's just good against him the whole time.
So much damage being stolen away from him, but with the Dragon Tail stun, Somnus. Okay, well, Moon turned around, he came back in for this, but Somnus still has way too much damage.
Whoops.
Yeah.
That ain't good too.
And now Somnus is going to grab the regen rune up on top, so everything expended will be regained.
I'm not a mid lane expert, Toby, but I do want to say that was a mistake. I think that was not what you wanted to do there.
No.
And that's bad news, because he died to the Siege Creep wave, and he had Dragon Form running. So now there is a possible power play here. Either Razor can do what he's doing right now, which is go top and find a fight there, or he could keep putting pressure on mid. Now this should be reported by the Dragon Knight, because, you know, Razor just killed him.
And Reggie Potato's been doing this for the last 2 minutes, sitting behind the tower, so he's dead. No way to survive this, just sticks up. That so much damage again being stolen. 2-2-4. So 2 kills in the span of 30, 45 seconds
I love
for the
that
Razor.
line. I love that kill line from Razor. I don't know if does it play the same kill line for everyone in the game, or is it individual client? Did he say he zapped your ass on your client too?
Well,
remember
you're getting my audio.
That's true. I'm hearing yours, so that's a bad.
So
True.
yes, he did
Yes, you
say
heard
that
that.
in my client.
Yeah, but the question still stands. I'm actually not sure if everybody hears the same sounds in the game. Maybe they. I think they do.
It should be triggered the same way. Because most of those lines are actually triggered right because of the interaction between the heroes, like specific ones.
Yeah, but there's sometimes they have, like that one for example is just generic. That is Razor kills a hero that he does not have a specific kill line for, right? So maybe it would select from, you know, 5 or 10 different ones. I'm not sure.
Hey, well,
It was one of the good ones though.
we can just walk out the door, ask a couple of people from Valve, and they'll be like, "Yeah,
They'll
this
be
is the
like-
way this works."
They'll be like, did probably discover a bug then. Like, oh, it works like that? We didn't know for 7 years.
Smart from KP. Using his conversions to scout the high ground. Moon,
Oh, not
however, is
again,
not
not
where he
again.
wants to be.
another
Static Link
Dragon
comes
Form.
in, but with the Storm Bolt, he's got no way to walk away, and this is why the Razor pickup is just so good. Moon can't do anything. Razor is 4,000 net worth 8 minutes into this game, and the closest to him is actually the DK at 2.5k.
Moon's game is... If you
It's-
die on your first 2 Dragon Forms with barely hitting the tower, Dragon Knight is very, very sad.
Yeah, they've done
He is
almost no
very
damage
sad.
to that tier 1.
That's the one redeeming factor the hero has when it loses its lane, is that you can at least rotate to the mid lane and start getting the tower. But if you die on the first 2 Dragon Forms, on his 3rd one, the Razor's gonna be so strong that if he's there, there's no way. Razor would probably beat Dragon Knight +1, 1-on-2 in any fight right now. I don't see who could come and gank there.
Oh, and in fact, Razor's looking for his own fight down on bottom lane.
Spotted on a ward though.
Yep. But there's so many dire observe wards up on top lane that X-Nova, he can just be a little bit more defensive. Level 3 strokes up, so getting rid of conversions is pretty fast too.
They got
But the tier 1 tower is still going to die.
That's good. At least something going Mineski's way so far. That's the first really good thing to happen for them in this game, apart from the first blood.
And it actually comes from the Omni Knight lane.
Yeah. I think you might need to try to keep this ball rolling. In a lot of Enigma games, you would advise the team to just play a little slow, wait for Enigma's timing, farm up. But... Oh, fall down. Finding
Yeah.
some good space. The thing is, if they don't put more pressure with this Enigma and maybe rotate mid and start hitting this tower with the Dragon Form, Moon's game is going to feel bad still. They're going to bring Omni Knight bottom to protect the Gyro. Bounty runes are coming up. He's going to get zoned off.
Yeah, they definitely can't fight Somnus. He is way too big. but
for 2.
it's still, yeah, KP going to grab both the bounty rings up on top. FY, on the back of a haste, someone's going to frostbite him and hold him there for the moment, but Ninja Boogie, so much straight up damage, and Somnus. God, this movement speed, 371, even without the phase, but it's 401 with him. That Crystal Maiden's not running away.
319 with boots. Yay!
That's the CM for you.
That is CM.
Well, here's your third Dragon form from Moon. Able to get some damage into this mid tower. Raging Potato has to sit behind him and support him. The bottom tier 1 tower is being taken by LGD in the meantime. But while that's happening, KP is still adding more pressure up towards the top lane.
I actually like the split more than what I suggested. I think this is really good. Putting the Omni Knight mid with the Dragon Knight to protect him and hit the tower. Instead of bringing Eidolons and Enigma to do the extra damage, I think the protection has more value. And you, like you said, you let Enigma do the split push top and get more farm toward the key item that could bring them back in the game.
Yep.
I think this is a really nice choice. Now Dragon Form's expired, so they didn't get the full tower, but on the 4th Dragon Form, surely they will get it if Omni Knight sticks around for another minute and a half.
KP's pressure on the top lane is keeping Ame up here.
Yep.
So he's either having to farm the jungle, which is underneath Radiant Vision. And if he moves off that, then Moon will also see
Omni.
it.
Ah, he's fast. He's really fast. He's really fast on Omni when he activates phase boots. 450 move speed, thereabout. Something to keep in mind about these phase boots on Razor, right? How much worse they are on ranged heroes compared to melee. They only give 10% move speed on ranged heroes and 22 on the melee heroes. Omni Knight gets way more value when he activates them. If phase boots were as good on ranged heroes as they are on melee, they would be an item, let me tell you. They would be an item.
Hey,
They also give less damage. Not so much.
Oh, Ame. Double damage room for Moon. Maybe now with his Dragon Fall up, he could finally take out this mid-tier 1 tower.
Yeah, pretty sure he's going to go for it. Omni stuck around for the whole time farming jungle, so he can now rotate over and help. Used the majority of his mana though, but he has Clarity plus Maiden Aura plus Bassi, so his regen right now is 8 a second. That's really, really high.
I think KP's been waiting to... Okay, nice dot tick that gets the tower. KP's been wonder what he'd actually buy up if he needs the Blink Dagger, but he knows he needs both Blink and BKP. So instead he gets the Midas 12 minutes in.
Should I buy Blink or BKB?
Oh, should I just get both?
Midas.
After I get some money. Unfortunately, he's farmed up all these camps, so there's no efficiency for him. It's just...
Could Midas the creep wave.
Yeah.
He's going to wait though, it looks like. Can I just say, I think Midas efficiency is overrated, by the way.
Oh, Chalice left
It's
him a
like,
wolf.
sometimes people panic and they're like, I have to use Midas, it's ready. But in the grand scheme of things, if you think about it, 5 or 10 seconds difference is almost nothing. Like, it's so little, but there's this like obsession in the Dota scene with, oh, let's try to use Midas non-stop so I can be as efficient as possible. And of course it's nice, but if you put yourself at risk of dying, or you're like obsessed with using it instantly instead of waiting 5 seconds for a better creep to spawn, you're shooting yourself in the foot, basically. Like, the value of it isn't that ridiculous. Tide top. Gonna get Malefist and Black Hole, actually.
Pull him in and the call down everything they've possibly got to kill him before the Ravage can come out. And Charles will get it off with the Bond Charges. He'll still end up dying, but a board time for the rest of LGD to move over, and Jara comes to TP out. No! The stroke from Nova. It reaches in time, and Ninja Boogie has no TP scroll available, so he has to go bush. And just hide. That is not what Mineski were definitely looking for. They committed everything they had to kill that Tidehunter, and he still tanked through long enough
he got scanned out
to get the Ravage, and
See
got
ya.
him. But hey, is buying efficiency for Moon's Midas now. He did a pretty damn good job of recovery. Like, LGD's 3 cores were so far ahead, and now he's actually in the 3rd position, nibbling on Razor's heals for net worth.
Razor's been moving around, and Dragon Knight took the mid tower, which gave him a lot of extra gold. And like you said, he's had 1 Midas usage too, so that's a bit of extra gold too. And then suddenly you're kind of back in the game.
It's the downside of the LGD lineup. Like, you really don't force towers down. Like, once Sven's got a lot more damage, then maybe it can happen. But they're also keeping tabs on him farming into the Radiant Obs. These 2 deep wards from Mineski gave them so much information about LGD's farm pattern.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind while Dragon Knight is recovering, this is a totally free Sven game. He has 10 CS per minute right now, and
Yeah.
Go again.
Who wants this? Put Moon towards the front lines. It's all for the bounty rune. Reggie Potatoes not making a move for it. He won't get it. Moon gushed up, but Somnus steals all the damage in the world with the extra slows. Moon just being body blocked by Charles, and this will buy time for Somnus to close the distance. And they'll find the kill, and
nice
actually Ragey
stroke.
Potato too. The stroke from X-Nova puts the silence on him, so Omni Knight, no way to heal, no way to grace, no way to do anything.
And right now, LGD are 10k gold ahead, more or less, in terms of... Oh, not true.
Yeah.
They're 7k gold ahead. Because Midas is kind of a dead item, right? But there's one on each team, so we can only count one surplus. In terms of what it gives for what it costs, it's, you know, compared to other items, it's just not as good, right? 40 attack speed for those 2k gold. You could have aura or, you know, a damage item or whatever. Stats, drums. With these two Midases, in terms of just raw teamfight power, an Enigma Midas does literally nothing instead of a mech that he could have bought instead. So you're making this commitment to go late, but it also means if you try for these rune fights, you just don't have so much in the tank. Your Dragon Knight is weak. He has attack speed, but he doesn't have the tankiness he could have from another item. And, well, that just means when you go to that rune and there's Razor, you're like, oh shit. And then you get run down and die. So
Yeah, it's like you just don't want to fight until you actually get the item after Midas.
despite the Midases, just look at the Sven. Like,
Yeah. Nothing is stopping Arme. And there's been no way, like, you've watched it, but you can't stop it. The stacking of the jungle. 9.1k gold, 16 minutes in.
this is kind of the farm you would see in a relatively bad Alchemist game, which means it's really good.
Let's try and turn it around with a weird-ass analogy. That took too long to Quelling Blade that Sentry Ward. Arme's looking towards mid. That's going to help his CS. Takes out every single conversion the KP had, and now, well, he just
goodbye.
Blinks away. LGD definitely looking to take that tier 1 tower in mid. Blink Dagger up on the Tidehunter, TPing in towards mid, so they are going to take this fight. Still no item over on Moon. Still no Aghanim Scepter on the Gyrocopter, and Enigma still short of the Blink Dagger.
Mineski need to hold this tower. It's good that they're early with multiple heroes just in case, and that they protect it.
But look at him move down. LGD's like, okay, well, we can't take the tower.
Okay,
Let's look for KP, and he just summoned conversion, sitting in the trees. Arme, he doesn't see him. Well, now he does.
Oh.
Wait, yep, now he does. I thought I saw something on the edge of the trees. Oh, he's actually taunting him before they kill him. Thanks, Somnus. Alright, so there's your Blink Dagger up, so DK gets his item after the Midas. And Enigma, before death, bought the headdress and the buckler, so actually going for a mech. And then just going straight into the Blink BKB. Kind of surprising. I thought Reggie Potato would have gone down that line for the team.
Yeah, now that you're falling back for auras, I have even less faith in Mineski having a timing soon, because the problem is either he could have gone for the mech before Midas, and they could have tried to fight with that timing around Gyro and Dragon Knight and Omni, but he went Midas, and now he's going back for the aura, so now they don't have the big items that he's going to need later.
Arme trying to use the end of the God Strength for Charles. Perfect Ravage with the Laguna Blade. Moon has nowhere near enough life to survive this, but maybe with the GA, he could buy some time to kill off X-Nova, and they'll get the TP away to safety for the Omni, but Moon still goes down. They were looking to be the aggressors with that Blink Dagger. So and now Ninja Boogie can't even complete his TP up either. The Blink forward and Stormhammer from Arme.
What do you do now as Mineski? Because you didn't go for the mech first. You went Midas first, and now you're falling back for mech. Do you feel like you can fight with this mech or with Greaves? Because I thought, okay, he's going to go Midas. They will wait for Blink, maybe even Blink BKB, and then try to take a fight. His fighting before will be too hard.
Yeah.
But now that it's a bit of both worlds, I don't know when the timing is. I think with this mech now, the fight is still really, really, really hard. And LGD can choose not to fight too. Let's not forget that. They can just farm jungle.
Yeah.
And force you to take the initiative, because this Sven can get a BKB and then they can go. I think you go.
If
Yep,
you're
go.
Mineski,
You go.
Aghanim Scepter's up. They're smoked up and ready to go. Mech is on KP.
Yeah. Now that he's gone for mech, this is as good as it's going to get in the next 10 minutes. So it's now. You go now.
Yeah.
And if this fight fails, you are big throw.
Well, you have a 68-second window without the Ravage for the rune. Moon, oh, the blink away so quick from Chalice. They get rid of the ward. But Moon's Dragon form being burnt. They're not pushing the wave fast enough to get into the tier 2. And look instantly where Ame goes to. Like, he wants to clean up this wave in mid, push the tier 1 towers. They get a quick trade. Moon is starting to attack into X-Nova, just up north of the tier 2 tower. There's the support, it's arriving. Tries to actually connect the Dragon Knight. Cooldown's going to come in. Omni will have to be leashed up to a Badike. He might be able to survive through this one with the mech heal. They actually do have the sustain. And breathe fire in the black hole. It caught Sven. It caught Tidehunter. They're all being trapped in with there's no Ravage. They don't have the team fight control. Ninja Boogie was delaying Somnus the longest he possibly could, but the BKB Razor has now finally come into the fight. He's only got 8 stolen damage. That will allow Moon to TP away just in time. The plasma field doesn't do enough work. And LGD lose 2 big cores.
That was actually really, really nice from Mineski. The black hole was perfect from KP. Getting the Sven in there was super important. Lina with the lens was able to stop it after 2.5 or 3 seconds, but that was enough to get the damage done. And yeah, it's a 2-for-2 trade, but you get the clearly favorable one going your way. You take advantage of that Ravage cooldown. Still got to be concerned though, that was a fight without Ravage. Imagine if...
Yeah, Ravage is up, you got to give it a lot more respect.
Yeah. But, can't fault them for anything there. I think they did everything correctly, pretty much in this play. Mineski. They did a good job not getting soulbound. You'll see the start here. X-Nova is hoping to get the soulbind between the Dragon Knight and the Omni if Omni comes in to cast spells, so he can silence them both. They Stormhammer, now they're connecting, but the silence already flies out, so it doesn't bind to the Omni and it allows him to get all of his defensives off on Moon. They buy the time. There comes the beautiful black hole. There's the LSA, but damage is done. Chalice is dead. And Ame thinks he can take this fight, which it looks pretty convincing, right? He jumps and gets a good stun, but the turnaround is there, and this TP is what wins them the fight. It's 100% dead if he doesn't TP, and that would have been a 3-for-2 trade.
I'm also wondering how Razor only stole 8 damage, because he came into the fight. Like, this is, like, I think the first fight where we haven't seen Somnus with plus 200 damage stolen.
Did Omni have Force Staff, and that was the reveal of it? It could be.
I'm uncertain, but it was Ninja Boogie who was playing with him in the backlines. Because Ninja Boogie just, like, he was frostbiting, Novering, keeping him away. LGD are coming for their own fight. Smoked up, moving fast. Moon. Blink Dagger is on cooldown for the moment. The smoke will break. He's now going to begin his own TP. Wow, they don't know. The blink down instead goes towards Ninja Boogie into the tier 1 tower, but Moon stays alive. Definitely the best case scenario for Mineski. God's Strength has been burnt. They'll fortify, just delay it. Tier 1 tower will still fall. Nothing was going to stop that. But LGD want this fight. Ravage is up. They need to force Mineski. Moon doesn't want this either. Like, he's recipe away from BKB.
Yeah, I don't think Mineski really have any interest in fighting here. But just trying to maybe slow them down a little bit. All right, they get cold feet and back out.
Yeah.
Because
Bottom lane was pressured, but that's all.
I think Mineski have recovered really nicely in this game, actually. It was starting to look rough, but this last fight top has bought them a lot of time, and the Midases are starting to ramp up their inefficiency here.
Also feels too like the itemization has arrived from Mineski. Like Somnus, yeah, you've got your BKB, same for Ame, but if that black hole's able to connect from KP, and he's going for the Blink Dagger next, like, the BKB timings are just going to be very heavily wasted, and the physical damage for the Gyrocopter is still going to get through. As you said, he's that hybrid style.
You need to save a stun for Enigma at that point. When he has Dagger, you have to save a stun the whole time. It's too dangerous to not keep somebody out of range. Lina has plenty of time before it becomes a problem. Until Enigma has BKB, the lens stun is super easy to land from high range. He has the cast range talent as well as the lens, so yeah, the stun is... This is when for Lina gets lens, it's like a different world. The hero just gets so much better. And you saw it in that top fight. The LSA that he landed on Enigma at that tower was actually only able to land so fast because of the lens. If not for that, the Sven would have died before the stun even came out.
Moon showing himself up on top. Chalice and Ame know they really want to have a crack at that, but Raging Pretender's already TPing out. Moon will do his now too. And they're just adding a little bit of pressure onto the top lane, dragging LGD's attention so they can go for these bottom bounty runes, but LGD aren't giving it to them. Razor's already moved down, Chalice is TP'd over into the cover of smoke. And the rest of LGD are running towards mid. Maybe these attacks coming out of the fog of war might make him think something else is awry. Oh, Ame. Nice jump. Good kill. And that's 4 bounties.
I think Mineski should have committed for one side. They had all spells ready, so they could have tried to protect their own runes at least.
They may have been worried about like that item not being there yet. The BKB now on Moon.
Yeah, a bit unlucky on the timing. If that's 1 minute or 30 seconds earlier, they might take that fight. They're walking through this ward. This is the second time you and I cast and we see this ward just being insane value.
Yep.
There's
It's always just out of range of the other sentries. But that's why, like, what team was it? And they always started playing the sentry in the middle of these trees. That way you're able to see over on the side and that side.
Not sure.
Yeah, I can't remember which team it was. I think it was on day 2. We saw it. Anyway, KP's got Blink Dagger. He's just looking at Somnus on the bottom lane. Can't do much about it because he's got no teammates near him. But thanks to that Observer Ward, LGD do know that Moon is alone on top. I'm just wondering what Mineski's objective is. Like, as he said, like, LGD can just slow this down. They could just farm up on their side of the jungle. Ravage is up, so Mineski feel intimidated by this. And now Sven's going to build himself up an Orchid, so he's got an answer as well to this no BKB Enigma.
And he's got a really good answer to Omni Knight. This is a great item to go for here. I like the Bloodthorn with the Orchid first. Sometimes you'll see Sven's go Crystallis first. But I think there's so much coming his way by getting the Orchid.
Tier 2 towers dropping real fast. FY will TP down to the bottom lane to defend it. But if Mineski don't fight this, LGD can just keep, well, taking tower after tower. There's only one remaining out of tower now. But Mineski want to fight bottom lane. They're looking for FY in the trees. The Light Strike Array will reveal his position. Moon would have to go for a blind blink to make that work, but Ame's also TP'd in, and they look elsewhere. They look to X-Nova. Stun comes out nice and quick. They can at least get rid of that Soulbind and silence. X-Nova gets around the tree lines, got the Inkswell to protect him, while Sven down in the bottom river. They catch out Nico, and then the follow Light Strike Array onto the Omni Knight. KP knows he can blink Black Hole for heroes, but it won't matter because there's no follow-up from the rest of his team. Very heavily split. Mineski looking for fights on both the north and the south.
Just got completely outmaneuvered. They maybe also got caught by surprise by this Lina Ags. There's so much burst damage blowing up this gyrocopter. Of course, when you get ravaged, there's not so much you can do about that. A whole lot you can do about that, you guys. There goes the tower. And suddenly LG with a really big win. 2 core kills, tower. Re-establishing full map control.
And then they can just move towards Roshan if they want to. Maybe a little risky while Ravage is down, but...
Yeah, their lineup doesn't kill Rosh very easily without God Strength. Razor is not particularly good at Roshing, nor is support Lina. I mean, as far as supports go, she's pretty good because of the attack speed, but it's not like a core Lina that has damage items.
Yeah.
So they don't want to take the risk. I think it's totally fine not to go for that. Wait for next Ravage, play together, control the map. See if you can find another opening like that one. That was pretty much perfect.
Yeah.
With Grimstroke getting the information that he got, his team knew exactly what they needed to do, and they kind of make this pincer move where they come in from the back while he's distracting both the Dragon Knight and the Maiden. And even if Grimstroke dies, that's still a good fight for them. So
this doesn't feel right when Ninja Boogie's moving that aggressively towards the Razor. He's got a team slightly behind him. Gyrocopter's getting some much-needed money. This is his BKB money. I'll give Nico a hell of a lot more confidence on top of the Tidehunter.
Remember when you said they don't have so much pushing power?
Yeah.
Razor took the Eye of the Storm interval talent on 20 and he's going Axe. That'll give you pushing power.
I remember the scary refresh Dragon Interceptors from Razor in the past. It's like if I need to go building damage, that's the build to go.
Yep.
LGD, they're all grouped up as well for a smoke. Mineski's done the same thing, but difference is Mineski sees them. If they had the observer board down, so Raider just walks straight into it. The instance done, they need to keep him perfectly chained, but now there's the issue with the BKB. He gets the black hole off. Is there a stun? There is to control him, and then the Ravage hit through the rear. Mineski, 3 heroes caught out by that one. KP's mech won't do anywhere near enough of a heal. Chalice being pushed away by Nico. His BKB allowed him to stand up there with the flag cannon, and LGD did lose out on 2. Moon still standing his own ground. Arme BKB wearing off in half a second, and now they all have to be retreated out, but Moon blinks forward, and look at him actually blink in. Arme just goes for the kill with Laguna Blade. FY just pumping out the damage with the control. Dragon Knight's in trouble, but now Ninja Boogie letting it go. Has he got enough to actually kill off the support? No, he'll get stunned up as well. That's a dive back for the Crystal Maiden. And the supports of LGD are the ones that stand strong as all the cores of LGD are pushing up the daisies.
Oh, the 4th core is alive, right? Lina with farm is such a pleasure to play as position 4. It is so good. FY's damage output in that fight was insane. Look at it. It does much damage as Sven. On the damage recap. Oh, I guess you can't see it right now. All right. So we're going to see the replay here. So basically, they run in the Razor as a bait. He has BKB ready. They get the black hole off, but there's no BKB on Enigma, so easy silence. Follow up Ravage. Kind of overlapped a little bit here from LGD. Could have been a bit cleaner from Chalice, I think, this Ravage, and the fight would have been even easier. And, well, Moon and Nico Baby played a good fight. They did a lot of damage here, so actually kind of turned it back to a draw. And the end outcome of it was more or less no change. That Laguna, man. So high damage, so long range. And FY is now level 21, so he even has the 14% extra amplification of it now.
He just seems ridiculously strong for a support. But as you said, Nico and Moon both actually finding some damage output, and that BKB of KP, if it does arrive, that fight, I feel actually it goes even more differently. Like
it does for sure.
Because he doesn't get stunned, he doesn't get controlled, and that's a full duration black hole guaranteed.
That's it's the game-winning item. If Mineski are going to win this game, it's because of that.
The crazy thing is how long it's taken to get there, because he had to go, well, he didn't have to, he did go the mech beforehand.
Yeah, without the mech, he would have had this quite a bit earlier, but...
LGD's going for Roshan. Ravage is still on cooldown for another 13 seconds, but Black Hole's down for 38. So Ninja Boogie wants to have a bit of a look. The Nova might be able to give him that extra information. But it was the observer board that was in the lane that let them know that LGD was already in the pit. Oh, Roshan dead in 2. 1. Moon jumps in. Dire. Moon actually snatches the Aegis to the Immortal. Died to get the kill over on Roshan. Now the Ravage from Chalice comes out, but BKB's protecting most of the cores. Arme into the Midnight Pulse, but with the God Strength up, he hits like an absolute hammer. Issues with the Gyrocopter. Can't move away. No more protection for Nico without the BKB, and FY doesn't care as he just throws out Laguna after Laguna. Moon and Nico both down. That was not the fight they were looking for.
I think KP's in trouble too.
They just keep chasing in.
I know he's in trouble.
Nico, what have you got? Have you got a Frostbite? Create some space. KP can survive.
Ame actually couldn't make it for the stun. I thought he was going to reach.
You're going to need some buybacks from Mineski.
Yeah, this is expensive. They have Black Hole.
Are they going to do it with Gyrocopter as well? He's got cooldown available as well as the BKB. Moon jumps in, gets an over on Razor KP. BKB's in. He's holding off on the Black Hole because Razor, well, do they feel like they've already got him? Some just keeps the chase going. You got the homing missile with him too. All right, well, we'll just commit it. I don't think that was necessary, but either way, a kill's a kill. The Razor goes down.
Not sure what KP was scared of to go for that Black Hole there. If Razor doesn't have a dagger, he doesn't have Force Staff.
He didn't have a BKB.
There was no way he was escaping that, was there? There was a homing missile flying in. They had heroes right on his tail next to Malefice. And it might not seem like that big of a deal. You know, usually we say, you know, black holing for a core kill is great, but there's a few situations, like in this point of the game, late game, black holing for a hero that's kind of a guaranteed kill opens up a massive moment of opportunity for LGD. When Razor respawns, they have a full minute with no black hole, and they will have Ravage.
Yeah.
So, gotta worry a little bit.
These long cooldown timings are just so critical.
So what's up next for LGD? When Razor spawns, I think we're gonna see them group up, try to regain control of the enemy high ground area over the Ancients.
Moon. Oh. Trouble. Has to BKB. Okay. Arme's right behind him. The Blink Dagger's on cooldown for the moment, so he'll Dragon Tail stun. X-Nova can't do anything about it. Neither can Ame. He can crit the wave for 1300.
That's
And
decent.
that's all. Big props to Ninja Boogie too with his warding game. Like this Observer Ward, which is about to time out, is the full duration one, but it's allowed him to counter 2 Observer Wards from LGD and gave them the information around Roshan.
Yeah.
Even if
didn't
that
go too hot though.
Yeah, it didn't go too hot, but at least they had the information.
Yeah.
You can't blame supports for that fight.
That is true. Oh, did we mention the hex on Grimstroke?
We did not. All the Aghanim Scepter also got queued up.
This is the richest I've seen X-Nova in an eternity, I think. He is so farmed. He has 5,000 net worth advantage almost over Ninja Boogie's Crystal Maiden. 35 minutes in. Full hex, he's going into Aghanims, so you can get an illusion of both Gyro and the Dragon Knight. The DK illusion is really nice when it's in Dragon form.
Yeah, Ame doesn't care about running up through mid. And for all the money X-Nova's got, Van is topping everybody. Rapidly approaching Butterfly. Alright, let's buff up FY even more. Mr. Refresher Orb double Laguna. It's also got Kaya coming out in the courier. LGD's ready to fight. Charles' Ravage is off cooldown. They may want to wait for that Kaya. It's on FY now. An Arcane Rune. Good for Ame, he's got God Strength in 10 seconds time. But it feels like Mineski knows something's up.
Yeah. They played very safe. They have a good defensive ward to play around here. And if they wait just long enough, another 10 seconds, they will have Black Hole again. And LGD might be banking on it still being on cooldown, actually.
Yeah. 4, 3 seconds.
It's up.
And they can get a jump through the north. Sven showing himself in towards mid, so DK jumps quickly. Ame burns the BKB. This is huge for Mineski. They didn't commit anything massive, but Moon now, he has to burn his own BKB.
Yep, he's regretting that. I think Sven panicked BKB too. I think Moon missed the stunning. Oh no, oh no.
Oh, Nico. He doesn't have buyback and bubble in the Ravage. It hits the back lines. KP's gone and the double Laguna through the Grimstroke. You didn't even need to refresh it for that one. And that may actually be the game. 100 seconds without the Gyrocopter. LGD want to end it right now. This is beyond escalated quickly. This has just been an explosive moment. Moon jumps in. He's going after the Razor. The Blink BKB Black Hole from KP is looking good, but he's going to kill him. But no, FY! There's your pop damage. GG is called. FY supports a real thing with that Lina.
It's so satisfying. Double Laguna with Axe, and it's so satisfying to watch. Like, the first one, you see it coming, you see the soul line, you're like, oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no.
Yep. And then the second one comes straight after because,
we talked about it being a counter to the Enigma BKB, right, in the end, and it did happen once.
Yeah.
He didn't really need it to kill him there, but it looked cool.
But it just feels like it would have been great. We like the BKB Black Hole still can't be interrupted, but you bought that much time for FY to actually be that big a factor. I'm wondering like where was the push meant to come from Mineski? Or is it just because Moon got trashed in mid? Like 2 dragon forms, minimal damage onto the tower. Sven was never under any kind of threat.
They were the tempo of the game was pretty bad for Mineski for a good 15 minutes, and then they kind of picked it up again, but like you said, the Sven had a total free game. The Lina ends up, I think, was it 12-1 and 11? Yeah, 12-1 and 11. And like, the thing is, if you're playing against a team of LGD's caliber and all 3 cores are happy and both supports are also farming, it's kind of like one of the things Secret have been getting praised for all season is that the whole range of heroes all can manage to get a good game and get the items that they need. And this game it happened for LGD, which don't usually see X-Nova getting that farmed. He was super rich too.
Yeah.
And in a way, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because the enemy team's going 2 Midases and just farming. So, of course, you're going to be wave clearing and getting your stuff, too. And if you're making the successful kills, well, guess what? You're ramping up harder than the enemy team. I really like this game from LG. I love the draft, and I think they played super well.
Yeah, they really seem to make the most of the map. Like we had yesterday, everyone like walking over the top of each other trying to farm up inside the jungle, but there was too many cores for it. Now the supports had all the lanes. Yeah. The cores had the jungle, and there was still a good amount of kills. Like it's 34 kills in 37 minutes going the way of LGD.
This is a super legit support duo for many reasons, actually.
Yeah.
Grimstroke and Lina both have a really good wave clear, like you said, so they can take lanes and the cores can go jungle, and you can maximize the farm. Yep. There's Soulbind, Laguna Blade, there is the fact that Grimstroke brings the silence that Lina doesn't have. So there's some matchups where Lina doesn't like it too much because the stun can be a bit difficult to land. You just throw in the silence and the hero that Lina can't deal with, you fight around it. So
Yeah.
and then you just need someone else that has a stun. Guess what? That was Sven this game.
Yeah.
So super good draft, super well rounded, and they crushed the lanes. So
Well, let's see how game 2
Great
goes.
game.
We'll have a short break. We'll come back and see if Mineski can find themselves an answer and find that nice paced, form, well-drafted lineup, something quirky, or else LGD will 2-0 this. Welcome back, everybody. Game 2. Getting yourself comfortable. Yeah.
PSG.LGD's turn.
Ready?
We weren't totally watching all the other games that are currently happening, especially the one, if you haven't seen it yet, Alliance versus Newbie is
Ready?
coming to a beautiful climax.
I'm ready.
You ready?
PSG.LGD's turn
I'm
to
ready.
ban.
That was a band sound, not.
Yeah, let's
that was a bit
let's get us off camera. Let's go to the draft.
Yeah,
We
Get
don't,
us
we, don't,
off.
we
Yeah.
don't we don't need to see our stupid
Get me out
mugs.
of this frame.
Yeah. Well, hey, LGD versus Mineski. LGD, very solid game, very solid execution. We expect really nothing else from LGD. It's like the way we were talking about game 1. I think both of us came into this saying, you know what, LGD are clear favorites. LGD, we have high expectations for them, and Mineski are the underdogs. But Mineski still are playing around in the top 4 points, top 4 positions of the group. So, like, it's not a miracle they got here. They are still a talented team. They still have some good things they can try and pull out. But for me, like, I just want to see Kameneski play the same level of Dota against LGD. Now, like, if they can move away from having this Omni first phase going into Enigma, which all felt a little bit more like they were too locked in on one strategy and on one big timing.
Yeah, we should probably also. Okay, there's one of Mineski's favorite first picks, so they get the Ogre Magi.
Yeah,
We should
easy
probably
KP.
keep in mind when we talk about scores in the rankings, in the groups, we should always remember who teams have played against. Because Mineski might be in a good position, but if they have all their hardest matches left on paper, for example, if they haven't played Secret and LGD, then, you know, things could shift rather quickly. And there seems to, at this point, what's interesting about the group stage this TI is that there doesn't seem, in this group at least, to be a very clear tiering of the teams, unless I'm mistaking the groups for one another. I think, or actually maybe there. So what is it? This is the group with. It's hard to remember all the 18 teams. Okay, so I'm looking at the group right now. Okay, there's a relatively clear bottom in Chaos so far from what we've seen.
Yeah.
They look weaker than the other teams, but beyond that, teams are taking games off one another quite frequently. There's a lot of draws.
Yeah, if it actually wasn't for the 2-0 that Keem was able to achieve against Mineski, they would have been straight down there with Chaos
They
as
would have
well.
been 0 points.
Yeah,
right now,
they're literally 1-0-4.
Yeah.
So it's not a happy time for Keen, but they beat the team they knew the best.
Yes, and it might turn out to be really important that they got that win.
Yeah.
Currently, it's what's keeping them ahead of Chaos. Yeah. Mineski, I still think, have to play Secret. I don't think they've faced them yet, as far as I can remember.
So Mineski's remaining games, they have to play Alliance. They're playing Newbie later today, and they've got a game against the LGD now, and yeah, Team Secret's still in their list as well.
They've got some hard games left.
Yeah. Well, LGD have Alliance, Mineski, and also Secret left over.
So there's a lot of. The top 3 will likely be decided within the next 4 hours in this group. More
Yes,
than likely.
definitely.
So every single win is huge for either of these two teams, and LGD they just looked better in game 1. They outclassed them. I think their draft was better. I think they played better mechanically individually. They played better lanes. So Mineski need to step it up and do something different. And this is I think a much better opener in my opinion. The Ogre into Grimstroke gives them good options for good support combo in team fights with the Soulbind, making Ogre that much stronger. You have much better laning than before, and you can build around having this Grimstroke now into the second phase, so find something that's synergy with Soulbind. I kind of like Doom as a concept in this game. He's good against Tidehunter. You can get the double Soulbind Doom off. And that's a hero we haven't seen too much, but I think KP does play it.
KP definitely does play a Doom. And anything which is able to farm in a 3 position, you know KP will play it. But he'll probably be on the Ogre. Like, Mineski have really gone for that, and that's also just these cheap combinations that they're able to run with just the Grimstroke abilities and then Ogre multicasting out. So that makes a little bit more sense. Yeah. And now we could probably welcome everybody who's coming over from the Alliance newbie game.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
how many mega creep losses are we gonna have this tournament? It's actually insane. I can't believe it.
Yeah, just so we can get this off our chest, because we were watching it closely. I was worried about my fantasy points as one. But we were watching Alliance versus Newbie in the break, and Newbie was down megas and managed to push back. They got 2 rapiers at the end of that on the Gyrocopter as well as on um, uh,
Anti-mage.
anti-mage. Yeah, to finish that game. Absolutely crazy. But yeah,
Crazy.
that's our 5th time I think now. A team's been down megas and then pushed back. It's been a lot of times, and we're in
Crazy.
day 3. This is day 3 of TI.
Like, the reason this is so crazy is that I'm trying to think back to other TIs, and I feel like this is almost the sum of every TI until now in Mega Creep comebacks. They used to be so rare. Now we've had like 4 or 5.
But why are they
In one
happening?
TI.
Why are they happening?
Yep, you tell me.
I can't tell you. I'm not an analyst.
I
I'm just the guy that gets hyped to plays.
This one should not have happened. Out of all of the ones that happened,
wait, I know why it happened. It's because Alliance was playing in
I mean,
the game.
you're not wrong. But out of all of the ones that happened, I think this is the one that should have happened the least. Anyway, back into
yeah.
this game.
Okay, so now we can focus on what we've got in
And
front of us.
This is a very classic LGD thing. They ran it yesterday as well. The Tide plus Gyro, super strong team fight. They group up. They have this very strong mid game, and they are not scared of going late game. Like this pick here. I think it's very solid lifestealer game. Good against the Tide Hunter. Good against the Gyrocopter. And Rubik also not too bad against him. You cast Rage. You can ignore whatever spell Rubik has and go in, unless he has like BKB piercing spells such as Soulbind, Stolen.
I'm wondering what
go
actually
in.
what LGD gets in return. I always remember like Banes would always be grabbed against the lifestealer just to mess with him, but you can't do that against the Grimstroke, and you can't do that against the Ogre. Like
You
it's
could.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever get a Fiend Script off.
It's possible if the Grimstroke Silence is used. It also doesn't have the highest cast range in the game. It's pretty good, but it's not like playing against Silencer or something like this.
Yeah, no instant disable on you.
I mean, they might consider. I just don't think Bane is that good right now. I think there's better, higher impact heroes in most scenarios, but here it is a possibility, absolutely. Especially the reason I'm more sold on it is because there you go.
Hey,
It's because it's
I was actually gonna say like I'm thinking you're right. The Bane's not a great hero right now because if you look at his win rate and pick rate, he's been picked 5 times and he has a 0% win rate. This is now his 6th time, and he'll have to look for some kind of victory.
But the reason I like it here is that it's Ex Nova. I think this is his single best hero, and if he has a good core to play it against, he can make it work. It's not only about the Fiend Script being good against Lifesteal. You also have the Nightmare against against the Silence of Grimstroke. It removes it, I do believe, because it makes the target invulnerable. I think Nightmare takes off the Grimstroke Silence. Pretty sure.
Would it?
Pretty sure. I'm not 100% on this, but I think it might take it off. I think the only things that remove Grimstroke Silence are invulnerability and invisibility. That's why when you Yules yourself, you remove the Grimstroke Silence from yourself too. So I think if you get I think Nightmare does. We might see it happen this game.
Yeah, just keep an eye out for it. We'll confirm it or
Not
not.
100% on this, but I have a pretty good feeling about it.
There is one thing that's 100%. Wind Ranger. Picked 4 times. 100% win rate so far.
100% win rate.
100% win rate on Wind Ranger.
100% wind rate. Okay, so what are we gonna see? Ember banned out last by LGD. Wondering if that's a clue for what they're gonna go for their other core. The Ember is really annoying to play against for.
Wait, they're actually thinking Ember? I'm thinking that's like a Moon Wind Ranger here, and that's an Ogre for KP.
Wind Ranger can be multiple things, so they don't really know, right? It could be a position 3.
support.
It could be even 4 for.
Maybe we see the IO Wind
potato?
Ranger, the OG special.
I don't know about that one. We'll see. But yeah, I kind of like the Ember ban because they don't have the best catch for him. You have Fiend Script, but that's not that easy to get on Ember if Ember plays really well. And he's one of the heroes that can maneuver around this like group up and punish with AoE kind of style.
All right, so there's Moon's hero. So it was actually the mid that was left over.
They were right to ban a mid hero.
They were.
Okay, what's left? So Gyro can go both mid and safe lane. I don't think you want to play Gyro mid against Death Prophet, so I think this Gyro will be in the hands of Ame.
So what's a nice one against the DP? Funny thing is, I was wondering like if you go like the OD, but he's not that great against the Lifestealer.
Broodmother owns this game. It's really good.
But I think it's the second time you've asked if a Chinese team actually plays a Broodmother.
I would even better this game.
When was the last time you saw maybe play Brood?
Not that long ago, actually. I think he has played it this year.
Okay.
A couple of times even, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Or
I think
Somnus.
it's the best pick. But they, it's again, do they like it? Is this how their team wants to play? If it's not, you can easily get something else, right?
Well, it's gonna be Terrorblade.
So it is a mid gyro still. Okay. So they'll pick the Terrorblade. Good against Lifestealer. It was what Liquid tried to do against who was it they were facing when they played the Terrorblade yesterday?
Oh, come on, brain.
Was it actually Mineski?
No, it was the Lotus Orb reflect.
That was Mineski.
Bug.
Wasn't that Raging Potato playing the Mirana? And the Ogre was KP? Right?
Right? I remember Miracle getting the
I think
bounce
that-
back on the Terrorblade.
I think the
Thunder.
Lifestealer in that game was Nico Big. I'm pretty sure it was Mineski that they played that game against.
I remember watching a Liquid Terrorblade.
Yes.
That happened, and
Yes,
that
that's
with
good
the
enough.
bounce back Lotus
That's
Orb.
already good enough for you.
Yeah, let's just go for that
Good,
one. That's
good.
great. Yeah, we remember one game out of something.
He played Terrorblade against Lifestealer, and they picked it largely for that reason. And it was against the exact same core duo, as a matter of fact. It was against Lifestealer and the Death Prophet. So LGD have the same read that this is a good pick against it. They will end up putting the gyro mid for this reason, and I don't think that's a favored matchup for maybe for once. I think Death Prophet should have a slight edge in this match. Matchup in mid. So perhaps this time around, Mineski can get off to a slightly better start in lanes, and this time they have more play potential, it feels like. So. Who ended up picking the Wind Ranger?
Support.
Raging Potato?
Potato.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were going to do. So Ogre is played by KP.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I think these are the best ways they can distribute the heroes in this game.
Yeah, it feels nice. Everyone feels like they're on very much comfort style heroes as well. Like Moon is a very easy to execute Death Prophet for him in mid. Like Ninja Boogie's Grimstroke, up towards top Nico, Baby's Lifestealer, and then they're going to run the dual off lane with Raging Potato. He always seems to have these quirky supports that get to help in the off lane. He'll play Wind Ranger working with KP. FY Rubik, I'm just so happy to I actually kind of wait for a game where FY gets to play a Rubik against Phoenix again, just to see if we get to have that great moment once more. X-Nova's Bane, in towards mid for Arme. He won't stay there, though. Oh, maybe he will stay there. Somnus has the Gyrocopter, and right now they are just hovering and just, well, spinning on the spot.
There are actually so many player-hero combinations in this game. Like favorite heroes or some of their best heroes. Like, in a way, you could argue that LGD are like all 5 players are on one of their 5 best heroes, I think, right now.
It does really feel that way.
The only one you're a little bit hesitant about is Maybe, because I feel like he has so many other heroes that he's really good at than Gyro as well, and he's not the most picked mid hero, but everybody else, look at the heroes they're playing.
Yeah.
It's like very much comfort zone.
So it's going to be a 2-2 rune trade out, and Terrorblade will stay up on top. Do you think that icon on my screen looks so much like an SF? It does not look like a Terrorblade.
Oh, that kind of looks like Terrorblade. When you see the horns, right?
This is the horns that make him stand out.
Yeah.
Also, that set looks really cool. I think I like the Arcana wings, though, a little bit better. Because it's still an Arcana.
There's no Arcana wings. You mean Immortal?
Yeah,
Does he have Immortal wings?
I
I don't play Terrorblade.
Wait, no, he has Arcana wings,
It's the
right?
Arcana equip. It's a chest item, I think. He has the Arcana equip. Oh, now he's running across the map. They got mind gamed.
They thought they had the lane they wanted. Hey, they're just really running FY as the real one. That's what's happening here.
Mineski were the first ones to identify the lanes and swap them around, and because of that, they get a little bit of a head start here with Nico already sitting in the bottom lane, whereas Terrorblade has to walk all the way, and now he's going to be laning with Tide. Wait.
No. He'll the Tide will TP to the top lane
Yeah, but
to
then they
go
can
against
just
KP.
swap.
Yeah, they can just TP out.
They can just swap again then.
Well, the Bane's TPing down at bottom lane. I suppose it's the time to trigger out your Metamorphosis and go for a kill over towards Raging Potato with the Gusher out. Raging Potato, that heavy damage really does arrive. And first blood is spilled with LGD's rotation.
I think Tide might stay bottom and they play him as a 4 for a while. and let FY play offlane. Because the reason is, if they start switching the lanes... Okay, never mind. Now there's a play of switching the lanes around. If Mineski really want a different lane matchup, they can do it. The only one who TP'd bottom was Windranger, so they can send the Ogre down here to lane against Terrorblade, if that is what they were trying to avoid with this lane swap.
I'm loving this from Ninja Boogie. He's waiting for the perfect line to get the first stun. Shackles up, perfect chain stuns, and X-Nova will die in the bottom lane. So it's all about the kills on the bottom, but it's also all about the Rubik getting so much CS.
You've got to be careful as Terrorblade in this lane. It's pretty dangerous.
Especially when your Metamorphosis is down, you got nothing that really dissuades Nico from attacking in deeper.
It's Terrorblade's biggest nightmare in laning stage is high magic damage heroes. He has high armor but low health, so spells that deal a lot of damage are a big problem. And he's playing against one of the strongest right now, which is Grimstroke. When the Inkswell hits level 2, you see the Stroke of Fate already taking like 15 or 20% off his health when it travels through only one creep. There's the other spell, Power Shot, taking another 20% off him. Gotta be careful.
And keep your eyes towards mid. Homing missiles coming in, but FY, he'll have to walk underneath their dire Observer Ward to actually have a crack towards Moon. But maybe they have enough. They have to get away from the creep waves so the full Rocket Barrage connects on Moon. FY picks him up, throws him back down again, and they have the damage. I don't think Moon actually saw him, or else he probably would have run south. But instead he tried to go straight back up to his TPing in Wind Ranger, but it just wasn't fast enough.
Maybe it was losing the lane. It was losing the lane pretty hard even, and now they're even. If you get a kill mid and it equalizes the lane, it shows how far behind you were in minute 3.
And FY making most of that extra farm he got, because he's gone for the 1-2, so it's really easy to get that fast burst damage, and he's almost got Arcane Boots.
Yep, 8 CS from top lane plus that kill. Very nice for him.
And Ty just gets to play the top lane against Ogre quite safely too.
That's a super easy lane for Tide.
Well, they're going open wounds. There's your stroke. Ragey Potato waiting for the right line to get the shackle off, but no one's lining up for it. Yes, I think he's still a little bit worried about what X-Nova can do to him once they put the Nightmare down. Just messing with target selection.
Bane is very good against Grimstroke's Inkswell. It's relatively easy to time the Nightmare against the explosion, and that will keep the Terrorblade safe for the majority of this laning stage.
Ame just burns his Metamorphosis, trying to get something out of this lane. It's kind of hilarious though when you watch both the supports of Mineski just walk away. Nico still stands right in front of the tier 1 tower, farming up. Like he just doesn't fear anything that comes his way. He can just rage and walk it off.
Yep, he's pretty safe down here, but at the same time, if Terrorblade is happy farming, it's kind of the hero you want the gold on a bit more overall.
Thought for a moment Ragey Potato was just going to go quickly for the shackle, followed with the Inkswell. You've got so much chain stun that can happen.
Nightmare.
Yeah, again, yeah, Nightmare.
But I like the idea of trying, honestly. I think they should be playing more aggressively. There we go. They're going to go on the Bane.
Yeah, they're trying to do a lot of work before the 5-minute bounty runes are going to spawn up. KP was able to grab the ones up on top, but this will still be a 2 for 2.
3 for 1, right?
Yeah, 3 for 1.
KP got 1. Chalice and KP are pretty much hand in hand on farm. KP's a little bit ahead, mainly because he arrived to the lane a bit earlier, I think. Or because Chalice had to rotate and TP.
Yep.
He lost a little bit from the bottom lane in the beginning.
Chalice still got some decent CS up on top. It's actually kind of hilarious watching the two highest farmed heroes having both FY as well as Chalice in the top lane against KP. They want to go in again in mid. I'm keeping my eye on item drops this time around. Not going to miss like the arcane drop yesterday. And FY, well, Ragey Potatoes found him in the trees. Moon starts the Spirit Siphon, FY just has to throw him away, but the shackle. Ragey Potato lined himself up nicely. FY begins his TP out knowing that the stun's already been used.
Moon didn't have enough mana for another Crypt Swarm. When he used the Siphon, he ran out of the mana. Really nice TP. And yeah, sure, you don't succeed in your own mid move, but you also don't get killed by the enemy team's move, so it's kind of breaks even. And he was in a very awkward position there on the Rubik.
Feels nice just when you waste the time of a Death Prophet, waste abilities of the Death Prophet.
Yep.
Gyrocopter actually started moving towards the top lane like he wanted to fight, but it's not going to happen. Tide is the #1 net worth on the field, just completed a Vladimir's.
And if he wasn't invincible before against this Ogre, now he is.
Yeah.
Every creep wave, he can just heal massively from Anchor Smash. He has got 5 tangos and a salve still. It's like, KP hasn't even bothered. It's like, whatever, man. I can't do anything to this guy. They're just hitting creeps. And now he's been overtaken by Chalice. Finally.
And Ame is having... it's not the funnest game for him. His net worth's not looking too shabby, but when you're forced all the way back into the jungle and you're leaving X-Nova to battle against Nico...
They kind of want that. It's more effective. It's similar to what we talked about in the last game, right? Where it's nice if you have wave-clearing heroes and you can put your cores jungle. This is not the same logic that Bane is not a wave-clear hero.
They're going after KP. Homing missiles coming in. FY is going to be right there too. TP support is on the way. And Chalice, he's holding the Ravage. And yeah, in fact, I think at this point, LGD would have loved if that second TP completed. Because then it would have actually been worthwhile just burning the Ravage.
But the reason you do this bottom is not because Terrorblade is having an awful time. It's because it's the highest efficiency play, right? You get Bane a lot of experience while Terrorblade can jungle effectively. And even if Bane dies here, this is still... I still think it's the right move to put the Terrorblade in the jungle.
And he's going to Nightmare, move back, salve up quickly inside the tree lines, and Ame's arrived.
He even survives.
Yeah.
No problem.
You're right.
I don't think Ame will stay here very long. I think he's going to clear some creeps and then go back into the jungle again and let X-Nova take the lane. Because Terrorblade, if you have a free lane bottom, like you get a little more efficiency out of farming the lane than the jungle, but it's not much. But for Bane, this makes a huge difference for his game. If he gets to get solo experience in the safe lane, it's so much nicer than if you're just protecting a Terrorblade who's farming anyway. Like, you're not making that big of a difference for him. And you see Ame is already rotating again.
And they're all coming towards mid with Chalice as well. Moon already used the Exorcism to take a lot of the life of the Tier 1 tower in mid.
Yep, got a lot out of that.
But they won't get their own pushback. So wrapping around through the rear, Somnus and Chalice using that Fog of War. And Ninja Boogie and Moon, they're the closest ones. A quick silence out from Ninja Boogie, but Rocket Barrage was faster from Somnus. Or able to find that kill. And Moon, hey, that's some confidence to throw that Crypt Swarm out when LGD are on the hunt. Ragey Potato's running up the river too. Homing missile will come his way. He's going to go to the Radiant side. Starts his TP out. That's done. Will actually connect. Call down everything that maybe he has just to ensure the kill happens.
I think he survives if he instant TPs on the Windrunner instead of running away first. The homing missile catches up to you faster than if you try to TP out.
Either way, it's now 5-1 in front for LGD. Experience and gold both their way. I think Ame's lining himself up to add a little bit more pressure towards the bottom. That's why they're trying to establish some vision control, but Ninja Boogie and KP are there to stop it.
Yeah, now that his treads are coming out, he's hitting a pushing timing. Look, he's a full level ahead of Lifesteal now on Terrorblade.
Well, Lifesteal always had somebody else with him. Like Terrorblade got into the jungle, now Moon. Homing missile, here we go again. Curry doesn't have much to bring in. Adds some boots. Rocket Barrage does his work. Charles lands a gush and the Ravage, clipping Moon on the edge, but it bought just enough time for Somnus to get another. Another Rocket Barrage off. Yeah, it may not have been essential. But I think LGD is sending a message to Mineski.
In the meantime, Bane was in the middle of nowhere. Pulled a lot of attention toward himself and got killed, but he got his ward down earlier.
And this little sucker up here.
Yep. It's been there for a good minute and a half. That's unlikely to get dewarded this early on in the game. And once again, it's just the game plan from LGD progressing nicely. They did a very good job in their laning stage, especially the rotation from FY into mid was huge. And it makes Mineski a little bit forced to do something here. So they're going to go for this bottom T1 tower. Multicast Midas.
It does not look like FY wants to have anything to do with the defense without the Ravage. So Chalice and X-Nova, they move towards mid instead. Ninja Boogie's trying to soak up a little experience. And they'll work with Ame to beat into the tower. Chalice needs to be the tank for Ame. And he's very happy to do that with the Vlads, and there you go. Nightmare to begin this. Somnus in through the rear. Multicast from KP causing problems for X-Nova, but better from Somnus. But he's shackled up for the moment. Now the flat cannon damage will start to spill out, and their attention moves towards KP. Moving down with Ragey Potato, but playing around these trees is great for the Wind Ranger. But it wasn't even a full commitment from LGD. It ended up being a 1-for-1 trade-off on the supports with the tier 1 tower. But FY is not committing. He's farming up bottom lane.
Yep.
This guy's got Neath lens already.
They got the mid tower for the safe lane tower. That's a good trade, especially if they can defend their own mid tower now. But Mineski are looking to get that collateral. The ping coming out from Tide, but I think it's already too late. Oh, maybe not. There's Glyph too.
Yeah, they got Fortification. You don't have Metamorphosis, however, so Terrorblade is not really a big fighter. But X-Nova with a Nightmare could potentially set up. Great silence into the trees, so Moon makes sure there isn't any kind of follow-up, but now maybe. Yeah, that damage output. They have to keep the stuns going, so he can't keep getting the flat cannon damage out. Shackle won't be able to connect from Ragey Potato, and FY with the Stolen Crypt Swarm does so much damage, combining with the Fade Bolt. They're able to get through Ninja Boogie. No other stuns to keep Mineski in position, and Grimstroke has 3 deaths now. 2 of them in the last minute.
And they held the tower. They can deny it if they want LGD, which would be another victory. But they could also hold on to it for its strategic position. Which is the primary reason you really want to hold this mid tower over the other towers. Is the access point.
Feed
Has
scripts
some huge influence
available.
in the game.
Nico has to back up. If he comes anywhere near that Bane, he'll die instantly. But all they see is KP in mid lane. Alright, now Nico's out a long way. But Bane can't make the run without revealing himself. The creep wave's cutting across. And Mineski will come under the cover of smoke towards the top lane. And now Charles will find his targets. Moon wants to start. They put out the first silence. This one comes from Ninja Boogie. Just trying to walk it off Charles. And he's able to do so. Break him free. Now is X-Nova, who's in a little bit of trouble. Starts the Nightmare over on Death Prophet, but that just isolates the support to die. One quick multicast, and Ragey Potato is able to also shackle Rubik to complete his TP out on bottom lane.
And that's a relatively low impact smoke from Mineski, right? They wanted to get into this jungle and try to find a core kill, but they end up getting only the Bane. Tide gets away, and they don't find the D ward on the big camp that has been placed. There has been a ward placed by the Bane. A very interesting aggressive ward here, by the way. Very unusual one. It sees very little, but also very unlikely to get de-warded. It's outside of the box, so it doesn't block the camp.
And normally you cut the tree up on the top and then put the observer ward down, so you get the hillside vision. LGD, smoke up of their own now. FY doesn't have a lot of mana to work with, but he's got enough for a telekinesis. They use the drums, get the pick up, into the call down. Grimstroke and Moon both being caught out inside of this. Ninja Boogie does not have the life to survive, and the homing missile will kill off Moon. And this quick execution from LGD. And bare bones mana FY, but with Ether Lens and telekinesis level 3, he's got a good grab range.
And maybe he's already thinking about bottom, but he's waiting for his homing missile to come off cooldown. He didn't see him.
He didn't. Juked around the tree line. X-Nova's finding better targets. Nico as well as KP. Nightmare's already out. FY with a Stolen Fire Blast. They got the extra stun. Arme has Sunder available.
Oh,
great shackle from Ragey Potato. And they get the double soul by Terrorblade. He can't Sunder while the silence exists. Ninja Boogie will claim the double kill. What a great shackle from Nico to set this all up.
Yeah, great job, Nico. Good check.
Man, see that one in slow-mo in just a second.
Nico's playing live still.
Yeah. Sorry. Ragey Potato. You know what I'm saying. Shush you. Goodbye, KP. Well, all that great work now potentially going to waste. Charles still has the Ravage. Wasn't caught out by Moon's silence, so he can get the silence on all of them. But do they want to turn? Yeah, they do. All 4 hit with the call down combined. Nico and Moon. Triple kill for Somnus and Ragey Potato and Ninja Boogie. They may be there just to give him the remaining ones. Homing missiles available. Ragey Potato TPing out in the tree lines. Ninja Boogie will not be so lucky, so there's the ultra kill for Somnus.
What was Moon expecting?
I don't know.
He kept running for the gyro with a Tide literally next to him. And got turned on. Man, Mineski were kind of making a comeback here in this game. I'm saying comeback. They weren't that far behind.
Here's our moment from before with the shackle that comes from the Wind Ranger, Raging
Nice
Potato.
shackle. He's holding the Fire Blast, waiting for the Soul Bind. Now he wants to do it. He gets stunned up first, but there's the multicast on both heroes in that Soul Bind. Very nicely done. Yeah, and this was super good for Mineski. They were starting to fall a little bit behind the game, and you know the matchup of Terrorblade is very hard in this game. And then this overextension just lost them all that they gained and more.
Oh, here they go again.
Even
KP
again.
just being stun controlled. It's FY using his own abilities against him.
Man, they are dropping the ball hard right now. They're just dying for no gain.
Yeah, something's not
Over
right.
and over and over again.
Something is definitely not right. And FY's gonna have a Blink Dagger real soon too. Once this arrives, like, I don't think there's any positioning that Mineski's able to win. You're getting your first combat item for Nico. It's taken a while because he went the hand of Midas. But actually, did he? He bought it, then he sold it. He had armlet, and then he sold it. And now he's actually going to die on bottom lane. The Phoenix Griffin Max Nova controls him.
Man, they just keep...
He was switching to Radiance, and yeah. It's like Mineski is just not ready, and now FY walks in. Stuns the Jabugi. He's just sitting under the tier 2 tower after 3 heroes were looking for the hunt.
Hello? They just walk back 5 steps. Next guy comes in. Oh, they left. Next guy comes in. Oh, now they definitely left. Guys, they're not leaving. Okay? What is happening?
Oh, and Moon dies up on top.
Got
Ame.
soloed by Ame. This is all falling apart.
Yeah.
LGD with the chat wheel spam. They're feeling good right now. They know that Mineski has given them a really big advantage now.
We'll go back into the armored on lifestealer. It's like, okay, guys, maybe I'm not going to ever get my Radiance. We need to fight right now. He's still got Radiance queued up, though. God, they're just so far behind on all of their heroes. Like your Death Prophet, the one that has to stay alive in the fight. The only upside is especially got a Yule Scepter. Now's the play from Mineski. Can they counter this? Power Shot gets good information. Roshan's still dying quickly. Raging Potato, does he? No, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's literally nothing. They can't jump in. They can't take Roshan. They can't steal anything. They can just watch it.
They gave Aegis to Terrorblade. I thought they might give it to the Gyro. He's 11 and 0.
Yeah, but Jared is also competing on the BKB. So maybe they feel like he's got a lot more life in him. But then you've got Terrorblade with Manta, 3 Wraith Bands. He's actually closing it on Skadi.
Yeah, man, Terrorblade's a transformation hero, though. I think when you have another carry in the game like the Gyro, that would have also been a really good Aegis.
You just bait with Chalice. Hey, Chalice, you just want to jump in there, see if you can get some abilities on you, make him fear your Ravage, suicide yourself off, and then come back and Ravage.
Oh, I would not have given it to the Tide, I think. No.
I'm just thinking this game's gotten so clowny right now that LGD can do anything they want with the Aegis and it won't matter.
But yeah, honestly, even putting it on Tide is not that bad. But I think it's about whether Gyro was better than Turbo. But either way, LGD know what they're doing. It's very apparent in this series that they're in really good shape. They're showing super good form in these 2 games. And Mineski, you gotta hope for it's not in the miracle tier yet of what is needed here, but it's getting there.
Presumably there's a 9% win percentage that Mineski can pull this off.
This is one of those games, we talked about this yesterday, how just looking at gold can be very misleading. Like some games you're 8k gold behind and you're winning, and other games you're 8k gold ahead and you're losing. And this is one of those games where you're 8k gold ahead and you're winning mega hard.
Yeah.
Because they have Terrorblade, Gyro, and the Tide as well, and they just have good matchups in this game, and they won their laning stage. So, Rubik, the shackle misses.
Get out of range of the Sentry Ward. Charles will turn around and, alright, take the Focus Fire and send it straight back to Raging Potato.
That's some pitiful damage out of the Wind Ranger. That's one thing support Wind Ranger is bad at. Focus Fire is so bad.
X-Nova's waiting as long as he possibly can. He's going to Nightmare KP. He's buying time for the Tidehunter. Charles is on the way. So is the Terrorblade. And now Charles has arrived. KP has mech available. He'll move into the tree line. They don't have enough damage just to burn through him, so that's why they wanted to bait out the mech. And now Arme's arrived, they have the damage output, but they still need the vision. Chasing around the tree lines, KP's done his best job he possibly can. With the blink forward, Quelling Blade, that's actually not even have to cut through a tree just yet, but Arme, he's had enough of this. Metamorphosis up, find the kill.
They might go high ground here.
Well, Somnus just took the tier 2 tower in mid, so yeah, they are ready to go.
Yeah, they're definitely going. That's why he wasn't hesitating to use the meta, because it's the plan here was to make an aggressive move up top, and if they get a kill, they go high ground. They might do it anyway because they had Aegis. This fight is extremely hard for Mineski. We saw some good base defense from them yesterday against Liquid, but first of all, I think LGD are playing at a higher level right now, but secondly, just strategically in this game, the matchup that they're facing right now and the way you have to initiate this fight is almost impossible. I think you have to try to silence the Tide with Grimstroke by soul binding him to someone, and then your DP has to come in from the back with ult and find kills.
I don't know if that's...
They
Dude,
are
I'm just waiting for
kinda
FY to...
doing that right
FY's
now.
just going to rage and jump in. That's all he's going to do. And that is exactly what happens. Rage, jump in, get yourself a new steal if you want. If the cooldowns right now does work, Ninja Boogie will die. Buyback will bring him back to life again. There's a lot of stuns into the Terrorblade. Sunder is available. And hey, KP, I'll take your life. Soul Bind as well as double silence is good. Manasar tries to break him free. Fiend Script, Life Stealer. He can't do any kind of damage until Moon will come in through the rear. But he didn't stop X-Nova. It's a full duration Fiend Script over from the Life Stealer. A buyback will come in from him. But FY, he's giving the Exorcism damage to return in towards Moon. That's why there's so many ghouls here. And Chalice, a 5-man Ravage. Everything gets hit. The Aegis Immortal will finally crack out. FY, alright, what do you want this time around? Blinkin, he's trying to use the Ink Sword to control up Ragey Potato up a little bit further up, able to do so. My god, this game is so totally over. Mineski are being outclassed by LGD. They'll take out KP for 70 seconds, and GG is called.
Damn.
Took 23 minutes, but Mineski will admit defeat. My god, LGD. This was a lot of class, no ass.
I think this is the most dominant series we've had.
Yeah.
LGD played super well this series, both games. They're just destroying their opponent completely.